Hello, you're welcome to another episode with Iframe. On this session today, I'm going to be speaking around how to write a winning CV. There are common mistakes to avoid. This will be a series of 3 parts. The first is the one I just talked about, how to write a winning CV, common mistakes to avoid. In part 2, I'll be discussing how you can write an ATS-friendly CV, how to format it for success. And lastly, in this series, I'll be talking about the 5 revenue CV templates to get you hired faster. And I'm hoping that at the end of this 3-part series, you'd have been equipped with a lot of information to get your foot in the door. I usually tell people that your CV is the first intro that people get to see before they meet you. So as much as possible, it is advisable to put in the information that is relevant. But oftentimes you see that some people make mistakes, or job seekers make mistakes because they don't know how to do a proper CV. I've done quite a number of videos on this topic, but I just thought to do a series to summarize all of the parts into a single video or a series of videos if you wish. So why is a well-crafted CV important? CV is important, like I mentioned before. It helps to introduce you to your potential employer. It shows how delicate you are with whatever projects you're given. So if your CV has issues, then it gives wrong impression of what anyone would think about you. So this is why it's very important that you have a very quality CV. The last point in this series is why you need a well-crafted CV is you're not the only one applying for the role. There are others that are applying for the same role that you are aiming to get. And the thing is, what will stand you out is your first introduction, which is your CV. So having said that, what are the common mistakes that we find on CVs? One, obviously, there are typos and grammatical errors. As simple as this may seem, I've gone through a number of CVs in my lifetime. I started reviewing CV officially in 2017, and I've reviewed numerous CVs. And what you see common in these CVs most times is typos and grammatical errors. Your CV is supposed to be your best foot forward. But if your best foot forward is full of grammatical errors or type, it shows a nonchalant attitude, I would say. If I was reviewing a CV for someone that was applying to a job in my organization and I see typos, I'll probably think this person is not keen to use, not serious on getting this job, because you're supposed to have looked through your CV. You have supposed to have formatted it properly to ensure that it gets the attention it needs. A lot of people get turned off when they see this sort of errors on CV. So that is very common. Ensure you proofread your CV. If you need to give it to someone, you don't have to pay for one. You can send it to someone to help you look through to see exactly where you might have missed it. So that's one. Number 2 is including irrelevant information. You see how you're applying for, say, finance analyst, for example, and all the information you have in there are related to what you did in sporting activity, for example. You put a hobby that is totally not relevant. I know those can be a point of conversations, but that's too risky a chance to putting in information that will not be relevant for the role that you're applying for. So it's very crucial that you ensure information you're including on the CV are relevant for the role that you're applying for. What I tell people most time is tailor the CV to a particular organization. I know it's tempting to think that that's a whole lot of work. If you're applying for 10 roles, for example, different companies, how do you make 10 different CVs? But the truth is, looking for a job is itself a job in itself. So you have to put in your best foot forward to ensure that you are getting the right attraction that you need for your CV. So tailor it. ensure that you're putting what is relevant for that job. Lack of quantifiable achievement. So you're applying for a role that requires, say, 5 years experience, and ideally for that role, I would expect that you highlight some of the experiences that you've gotten over the years, but you haven't included anything. You just put bullet points of job description. That's not enough for someone with that number of years of experience. You need to put some information about your achievements. What are things that you have done that have stood you out of the pack? Why should we hire you? Your CV answer that questions first before your interview. So that is another point. I've mentioned poor formatting, which is part of typos and grammatical errors. I don't want to go into detail. I'll talk about how to properly format your CV for 8 years, 8 years friendly format. But at this level, I'll just give you these 3 that I have just highlighted, which is typos and grammatical errors, irrelevant information on your CV, and lack of quantifiable achievement. Put some quantifiable achievement. It's not just, oh, I completed the P&L. I prepared the P&L calculation for this company. That's not quantifiable. Even though it's an achievement, it doesn't highlight how you did it, what you achieved. It's an achievement you're trying to include. So if it's just what you did, that's not quantifiable. You have to paint a picture that shows exactly how that was a difficult task or why this achievement is worthy of mentioning. You know, for example, maybe it was a tight deadline, someone resigned, you know, and you're able to pull all of those information together and still met the deadline and achieved a score of, say, 98% of whatever criteria they're using to, you know, to rate your work. So those are some examples of how you can, you know, state how you achieved those things. There's nothing that cannot be quantifiable on your CV, no matter the industry you're in. Think about it. You can even Google some of these things and you'll be able to get valuable guides on how you can state this fact on your CV. I hope you found this short 10 minutes video helpful. Common mistakes, I only mentioned 3, and why it's important that your CV is in a proper shape before it goes out. I'll see you on the second video. Thank you for now. Bye-bye.